And
Hey everybody, today is January 5th, 2024. I'm Gene,
I'm Zane.
and you're hanging with Uncle.
How's it
So,
going,
good man.
man?
You want to let the fans know why this is going to be over uh, a telephone call?
Yeah, so we decided to do it over Discord today. I am not feeling the best. I am actually pretty under the weather. I might sound a little airy. Hopefully, I don't sound too loud. Um, which I might need to be turned down just a little bit. I did check. But we do need to do some audio balancing. But yeah, that's why I'm doing it from home today. Is because I'm not feeling too well. Don't want to spread, anything I've got
Yeah,
to the people you care about.
appreciate it.
Yes, absolutely. But I do might need to be turned down a little bit. But other than that, we're good.
Okay.
Just a little bit. I'm listening to the show.
There, how's that?
Good, great.
Perfect. So, um, it's been an interesting first week of the year. Um, you ever watch like one of those old well, we weren't going to talk about that first, man. But anyway,
No, you kind of already let into it. We gotta start.
no, I want to talk about what's happening at the border because number one,
Yeah.
um, I want to point out what's going on and just state the facts as they are. And you guys look for yourself and see and make your own decision. But I think let's talk about what's happening uh, at the border with the surge of undocumented people trying to cross into this country
Mm-hmm.
looking for
Mm-hmm.
a better life, either through asylum or refugee status or work status or whatever legal status the Constitution offers them. Um, I think that's what I want to start with this evening, man, because
That's absolutely fine with me because, like, the Constitution's huge. We talk about it all the time here at Uncle, how it does benefit us, but it does hinder us. I feel like, in my personal opinion, in certain things. But the Constitution does blatantly state, I believe that's how you would say it, that immigration and seeking asylum is allowed within our country, within our rights. It should legally be allowed. And with these racist stances and um, hard pushes to keeping people out of our country, it's keeping us from representing our Constitution. These people aren't abusing this system. They're literally running from places of harm and or places that threaten them. So it's just that's what our country symbolizes. We're the shield, and we're putting our shields up, but deflecting everybody away instead of bringing those in who want to be a part and be a citizen here in our country. We talked about last week how reform in that system would be huge.
I mean, if you think about it, um, the framework of these constitutions were either descendants of or themselves immigrants to the new land, which is what they called it. Um, and they fled, the tyranny of the Mad King George III. Taxation without representation being the big kickoff thing, but they wanted their freedom, their autonomy, and yeah, they set forth those rules at the very beginning, including you have to be born here in the United States to be president. And at that time, there weren't that many people because,
No.
they were here, what, 100, 150 years before the Constitution was founded? I mean, um, they were brand new. So that was a very select group of people from what it's grown to now. If you really think about it, population wise, in my opinion, I think that's kind of uh, huge achievement that they wove into the Constitution. I thought it was brilliant.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I mean, like we've said before with the Constitution, with the change in time, we do have to mend, we do have to mold, refine certain policies that are within the Constitution to adjust to our life and standards that we have now. Things placed in the Constitution, they didn't even have electricity back when. Like, it wasn't even like something that was, and the internet wasn't even an idea. The internet was invented in my lifetime. So it's
Well,
like,
yeah.
yeah, like
So
it's just there's so much. Go ahead.
because, like I said, they themselves were immigrants or descendants of
Hmm.
immigrants. They had a very fondness for immigrants because they were representing themselves in a way. So that's why, to me, it flies in the face of hypocrisy, of a few things, right? So, number one, when I see our Speaker of the House, Republican Mike Johnson, go down to the border at Eagles Pass with a bunch of other Republicans, and just look in the camera and spout their hypocrisy, it's amazing to me because, number one, under the Trump administration, they did their best to defund and spend less and cut spending and weaken the U.S. Border Patrol Service. How they can claim the system is broken when they're the ones that have broken it and are pointing the finger at President Biden.
Yeah, and then like you said, that we talked about it earlier before we got on the air. Like that's why I'm saying, like you said. But the fact that they go with this biased opinion already, like I think about just something totally different. Like, you know how Johnson went with all Republican representatives, like not even somebody who is with the Democratic Party. So they can also have their input within. Also, like you said, with Biden trying to assist them with this system, like they denied that also. So they just want to do their own bias, their own stance, their own opinion, and represent that. So they bring their posse, basically. They don't
Yeah.
bring those that are supposed to represent us in a way, like the Democrats also. So it's just the things that we do to fix things doesn't fix anything. We don't work
Congressman
together to fix
Niels,
anything. Yeah.
Republican Troy Niels from Texas, said in front of the news camera he was
Hmm.
not going to do anything. None of the Republicans were going to do anything to help Joe Biden get a policy win on the border. So Biden is asking for funds to increase border patrol,
Which
to
means he's actively trying to
he's
help make the border better,
he's
right?
trying to make the border more secure.
Yep.
He is asking for more personnel for processing claims,
Hmm.
and he is also asking for more equipment for the Border Patrol to do its job. And the Border Patrol is a federal agency. They're not run by the state of Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, nor California. And for Republicans to come out and say they're not going to give him the money he needs to help make the border safe, to me, doesn't that just look like um, Republicans wanting to create a problem, have no solution, just want to have something they can pound their chest over to make sure there's always a problem they can run on against Democrats? Because they're
Well,
certainly not trying to help when the offer's put before them.
it's the same song and dance they've been doing forever. It's the only record they know how to spin. That and playing the victim. But it's like the one thing I see and I get from this is that we understand that it's the primary, right? That's coming up, and that's coming up, and they know if they were to help Biden, have Biden help them with this, whatever, it gives him that credit, and they don't want to give him that credit. It's that team-based mentality to where they're not going to help the other because they're the enemy, quote unquote, when it's not the idea, when it's supposed to be a whole idea,
Yeah.
where we're not enemies of each other, we're supposed to work together. So, like, that's one thing I'm seeing. It's just they don't want to have Biden help because they don't want him to take any credit for helping either. It's the competition.
Well, and then here's the hypocrisy of it all. Mike Johnson, oh my God, the Bible claims to be his path, and it guides him in his decisions.
Hmm.
And remember in Leviticus where it talks about immigration. All right, just look it up. It's not hard. You guys are so going against the book that you say is your belief that you're full of shit. You're just hypocrites.
Yeah.
It's terrible, Do unto others, that whole thing. Walk in somebody else's shoes. Would you want somebody to do that to you if you were fleeing a jurisdiction where your kids were being drugged into child slavery or into the military or join gangs or to be used as prostitutes? Wouldn't you want to get out of those situations? Or do you want to send it back and say, no, you have to do it the right way and sit down and fill out your forms the whole time your family's in danger with people with assault rifles coming to get you? It's like there's more than one way to cook an egg. And that's why we have the refugee and the asylum clause in our Constitution.
No, I couldn't agree more. And I don't know. It's just we have to come to some way to make our borders better, and not just the southern border. Like that's the other thing. It's always that border that we're trying to focus on when there's other borders that we have that need protecting as well. Like there should just be a whole honestly, I'm hoping for like Biden, even though they're not going to have him help, do a whole policy revamp of just all borders. Like, okay, all borders are going to get this treatment. All borders are going to do this. All borders have to assume this policy, this procedure, because then that fixes everything under the sun, red, white, and blue. It's like, here you go. Like, like
the problem, and again, where the hypocrisy screams out, is that don't forget you're standing on stolen land.
Yeah,
This land was
that
stolen from those people. It was
we were once
stolen
immigrants
from the people that God put here indigenously, and yet you want to call them illegal. It's no different than me going into your house, throwing you out, and saying, you're illegal, you can't come in here. There's no difference.
Yeah, the whole Christian stance, again, when we're supposed to have keep God out of government, but yeah, that it doesn't reflect that. You're supposed to love thy neighbor, for who they are. You're supposed to walk in someone else's shoes, understand the golden and platinum rule. Like that's what I took and have learned from my Christian faith growing up in my Christian household. Now, it's just you're correct. The hypocrisy of it.
Yeah.
It's just we've talked about them all the time, and I hate to say them. I don't like to put people in a box, but those type of people, no matter how righteous they feel they are in the right when there is no right or wrong within this situation. It's a conversation. People who are too prideful about them thinking they're correct or they're in the right don't want to bend or change from their old standards, their own ways, because they think theirs is the best.
I have a radical idea.
Yeah.
How about if you're a church, if you want to get involved in politics and start pushing political ideas as part of our political framework, then you start paying your fair share of taxes and contributing to that system.
They should have a third party.
Pay your taxes. You're a business now. You're not a church. You're a business.
Exactly. No, you shouldn't receive charitable donations. You should. Yeah. No, I agree.
Income. Pay tax on it.
That's a whole other deal because we got a lot to talk about today.
Right.
Well, let us know what you guys think. And also, we did not do our spiel at the beginning. Please make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the like button as well. Also, the bell to see whenever we go live in the future. But we're going to move on to the next one. I think this is a big topic that we continuously hop on, that we try to talk about more and more. I want to talk about the ballot ineligibility with the Orange Menace, the Tangerine Terror. The Supreme Court agrees to hear Colorado's case over the Trump ineligibility on the ballot at the moment. So Colorado gets to state the facts of why they feel he doesn't get to be on their ballot. Now, we said this last week. I think it's great for the states to make their own decision on what they need to do and for whoever gets to be on their ballot, because that's how often, sorry, I'm so tired. I'm still not feeling good. The whole time the Trump administration was in charge, the whole time, that's what they preached. It's like, yeah, states make your decision for COVID. Yeah, states make your decision for this, that, and the third. So now they're having an issue with states removing him and them making their own decision when the
Yeah,
whole time they were pro state decision. So
they want to
I don't know.
cover up the issue that it should be up to the voters whether or not if they
Yeah.
want him or not. And to
No.
me,
Yeah.
again, let's bring up some more hypocrisy because I didn't hear you complaining in 2000 from Gore v. Bush when the Supreme Court said, stop the count. Bush is president. You had no problem with it then. But now
hmm
that it's working against you, oh no, it should be up to the voters. You're a hypocrite. Shut the hell up.
Exactly. And I hear there's other states being they're also in the conversation for this too.
Illinois and Massachusetts have joined the domino fall, and I believe there are now 14 states that are considering removing him from the ballot.
And rightfully so, I think, because again, states have the right to make their own decisions. I think,
Yeah.
especially in this kind of situation.
And, the
No.
difference is like, so, for example, in Maine, let's take Secretary of State Shanna Bellows, right?
Yep.
She
hmm
was able to make that determination under the rules of this and the laws of the state of Maine. It's not that she decided to arbitrarily to say, yeah, I don't want him on the ballot. He's not here. She went through a procedure. She had a hearing. And what they never want to talk about, and they don't want to tell you, is that she stayed her own ruling pending uh, a ruling from the court appealing her decision. So she didn't even make her ruling like ironclad. She left the door
hmm
open for judicial review.
Hmm.
Yeah. So each state is
Uh,
different. So that's what states' rights
yeah,
look like. Whether you
it
like it
is.
or not, that's what it looks like. If you don't like states' rights, shut up.
And I think that rightfully represents the people who live in that area. I mean, we've talked about that before when we talked about the states' rights. That the state overall has a overall consensus on how things need to go and run, and that's how I think the best way to vote should be is that the state should have that majority feel of this is how it should be, blue, red, whichever. But when we take that away, the states' rights away, it takes away not only what we have put in order because we vote our state representatives into office out the window, but it throws our voice out the window again too. So it just seems like more and more suppression is what is happening with us here when it comes to our government. Because when they don't want states to represent themselves truthfully and hopefully, then that's not a truthful representation of what we want. Oh, I am echoing. I can hear myself.
How about now?
There we go, better.
I don't know what happened, but
Perfect. No,
uh,
you're good. I just heard myself a little bit.
oops.
It happens. But yeah, you have to let the states represent themselves the way they want to. And
you know,
democracy is majority rule. And if you can't have that,
to,
we don't have a democracy.
to me, this is a situation of be careful what you ask for. You want states' rights? This is what it looks like.
Exactly. This is
That's
the right
it.
representation of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not like
I
I want only rules that benefit me. You can't have it both ways. And that's the problem with Republicans, man. And,
yeah.
and I hate to say that I'm not a partisan, but as I look at things objectively, that's just what I see.
Right. No, it's you're right. It's when the rules work on my favor, yeah, I'm happy. But when they work against me, then oh, I'm sad. Like, be sad, honestly.
Yeah.
Be sad about it.
You
Like,
know,
I'm sad that I know our state is not going to remove him off the ballot. He's going to be on there
well,
here in our state.
I know it's still in the judicial system because,
hmm
again, Secretary of State Fontes here in Arizona does not have that authority like Secretary of State Bellows does in Maine. So
Okay.
right now they're saying, I believe, like they are in Minnesota, that the situation is not ripe because he is
Mm,
not the candidate. It's not ripe yet to try and remove him from the ballot. Where other states say, yeah, he did this, so he can't run. And I don't agree with it, but that's just the laws of
no.
those states, and that's what states' rights looks like.
Yep, exactly that. And we're not here bitching and complaining. We know he's not going to be there. We're just not going to vote for his ass.
There you
Or,
go. I know I'm
I
not.
mean, it's just how it goes. You're just not going to vote for him. But like, we understand that that's the state's right. The state wants to have him on there. I don't, God, I think sadly, but yeah, we understand that's the rules, and we're not here to bitch and complain about it. He's not going to have a good chance with this happening. I foresee this being the dominoes aren't falling. This is a river rock being thrown into a lake, and we're just trying to see how big this rock gets before we toss it, and then see what happens within the vote when voting starts to happen. So I think we're just building up that size of the rock right now with all these states um, thinking about removing him or not. And then once we throw it into the lake and we're like, "Yep, this is it. Let's go," it'll cause a ruckus and a mess. And
You know,
it's
I look at
yeah.
it like this, man, and it's
Mhm.
just again a numbers thing. In
Mhm.
2016, he lost the popular vote to Hillary Clinton by damn near 3 million votes.
Yep.
He lost in 2020 to Joe Biden by damn near 8 million votes. He's
Yeah.
not popular. The
No.
majority of the American people do not want him.
Mm-mm.
And these lawsuits being filed to kick him off the ballot in all these states is only shedding light on that fact, that reality.
Mm-hmm. No, understood. Yeah, and I think this is right. I agree that states should be doing it this way. I think it's absolutely fair that they're allowed to put whoever they want on their ballots, and that's where even write-ins are a thing. Like, right? So even if they don't put him on the ballot, you can still write him in, couldn't you?
So that's the beautiful thing about, again, states' rights. So, again,
Mm-hmm.
for example, here in Arizona, you have to file with the Secretary of State that you're going to be a write in candidate. And there's a
Mm-hmm.
filing date and all that. So if you never file that appropriate paperwork with the Secretary of State that you're going to be a write in candidate, writing Donald Trump in there is just the same as writing Mickey Mouse because he would not be eligible because he didn't get on the ballot the right way.
Yeah. Okay. So he's just overall ineligible in general. Then it
Exactly.
would. Okay. No, I was gonna bring that up. I forgot about the question earlier. I'm glad I remembered because yeah, I forgot. There is that write-in process, and I don't know how that works. Because
Each
like yeah, you
state's
could write
different,
Mickey
man.
Mouse, but
Each all I
like
can tell you is this is how it works here in Arizona, because I've been through the process not as a candidate, but just being there in the Secretary of State's office, watching the process unfold, and just learning because I was there watching it. And
yeah,
again, it's educational. It's like being there. It's something cool. It's like, yeah, I did that. I know that for a fact because I was there.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you have a lot more knowledge about state, like our state, of course, because it's where you are, it's where you dwell. Like that would make more sense than anything else. I would understand if you would have more knowledge in Maine than here. That wouldn't make sense. But but yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
It's just
I know we
with
both have shared attorney shows that we watch that show different
yes.
rulings from jurisdictions. So,
I was
um,
gonna say that. Yeah, there are different exposures to it. Like
yeah,
you
and both
have
are
different.
correct. What you showed me
Yes,
was 100% correct.
perfect. Well, I'm happy about that. I want to get on to the next topic because we are running out of time. We're actually going really quickly today. Holy cow, the online show is quick. I hope everyone's having a wonderful day again. Also,
Yeah.
always want to throw that in there because we're about to talk about something that might be a little bit more not so happy. Um, Iowa school shooter. That did just happen in our new year of 2024. 5 days into it, I think that's a new record. I don't know. I'm sorry. Dark jokes help me get through this shit because these we're over talking about it. I think as a community, which I believe we are, but also just you and I in general, we're over talking about this. We just we want peace for our kids when they go to school,
I'll tell you
and then that
this.
yeah. Go ahead.
I'm not numb to this situation. I get pissed off every time it happens.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm not numb to it. I get more scared, more fright, more fear goes into my heart about it. But the more I want to change, which is where I was going to get to bounce off of the headline about the Iowa shooter. One died, 7 injured, which isn't, thank God, not many, but sad. One had to lose their life for this. Um, it's just goes back to the leader, goes back to parenting, goes back to understanding that you need to have these conversations with your child. Me, my girlfriend Brittany, eventually we're going to have this conversation with our kid, advising him about the dangers of these things. He's already understood the safety of guns, which is great because his grandpa was in the military and he's taught him the safety of those in a better mindset than in the negative mindset of how they're supposed to be used maliciously. But we have to have this conversation with him and understand and check in on him because we don't want anything weird to happen. This kid posted something on TikTok before this happened. And then there's others who are agreeing with him and saying they're next or their next one's going to happen. It's like it's not a joke. But
No.
people do take that stuff as a joke. But some take that seriously. And the more this becomes a normal, we're going to see more of these types of posts and these type of reactions, and it's going to grow more and more, and it's going to leak to our children, which it already is, like,
Yeah.
which sucks, but it's not. We have to have some sort of change. That's bottom line.
I remember having the talk with my kids, man. It's one of those things now you just have to do. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm just glad you did it because I'm glad you took that responsibility on and did your best to forward that responsibility to him, knowing he'll know what to do, growing up and what to respect and why.
Mm-hmm. And I'm glad he has that. He has those who are willing to talk with him about these sort of things. All of us are here to support him, but I feel like that needs to become more of the normal in the American family household instead of raising our kids like robots
Yeah.
and putting them in front of screens all the time. My kid plays video games, yes, but he plays video games with me and his mother. Like he doesn't have access to online yet because he's only 10. Like
Right.
he is able to play with his friends when we talk to their parents and socialize with them and understand, okay, yeah, it's cool, this is fine, like this connection's fine, but he's not willy-nilly talking to random strangers online because we restrict that. We're his parents, we're supposed to, and we're
Right.
supposed to raise him that way. So I don't know. It takes more of an effort to be a parent. You can be that kind of parent that you want to be as long as you set that structure ahead of time. And that's what Brittany and I are doing with our son because we got him a computer, but we have an admin account on there that's already got all of that stuff restricted, baby. That's how we do it. Like,
Right on. Well, I
but
think it's time for our
yeah.
dumbass of the week.
I was just about to say that. I think it's time,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna bring mine up first because I think it might be a little longer of a conversation, but because I know it's something you wanted to talk about too. Aaron
I can say
Rodgers,
we feel the same way on this one. Oh my God.
yeah,
I
Aaron Rodgers.
I made my
Um,
comments about him with the trade
yeah,
at the beginning of the season, and my opinion has not changed.
no, not at all. And he further impresses me with the things that he starts to say. Uh, it, man. Anyways, he talks. There's the Epstein list. Everyone knows everything about that. Not necessarily a list. It's just information regarding people who have visited the island. There's no list of names
Yeah,
that particularly
there's a
says people.
flight
It's
list of
just
people that flew on his private jet. That's the list they're
yeah.
talking about.
That's what they're talking about, but they're talking about like more in depth information of like who visited, who had communications, who saw who. There's more information than just a list.
Right. Well,
But
the
with
list I
that,
saw in the news
the
that's what it was.
yeah, with the thought of that though, people are just randomly throwing names out there and pointing and saying, no, this person, and that person. And much like Aaron Rodgers, he's like Jimmy Kimmel needs to look out, man. He's got something that's gonna come out and man, come on, what is Aaron Rodgers doing? Because
Dude,
I
that's defamation. Unless
it
he's
yep,
joking, which I saw the clip, he wasn't. That's
no, he's
defamation.
not. It absolutely is. defamation, and Jimmy Kimmel did respond to it in a
Legally.
nice, yes, in
Huh.
a legally and also with a nice, wonderful message on Twitter. If you want to go check that out, you're more than welcome to. But yeah, Aaron Rodgers. The one thing I wanted to hop off about all the defamation is that the man's got a following. I've said it before. Power's in numbers, not necessarily the money anymore. It's in the numbers that you have in your followership. And Aaron Rodgers is probably one of the largest NFL names on the face of the earth today.
Mm-hmm.
And with the things that he says, it it misguides those who think differently about things where they shouldn't be thinking about it. Like we already know how he took care of that COVID-19 situation and how he felt about it and what he was taking and saying, oh, it's perfectly fine to do this and that and the third and DMT this that and the third. Like that, this man is,
He's a meathead.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. He's an idiot. Because he's abusing his power or misusing his power that he has with the amount of people that follow him.
Agreed.
Yeah, but he's a dumbass as well.
He's a total dumbass. Well, my dumbass, because we are coming up on 1 year anniversary tomorrow of the January 6th insurrection. My dumbass are the people that 3 years later still believe, after no evidence, after over 60 court appearances and hearings and no evidence presented. Remember, you can't say we didn't get to present evidence. You're making the accusation, the burden of proof is on you, and you're providing no evidence, and that's why all your cases were dismissed. And yet these morons out there still believe that the election was stolen. You are
Unreal.
my dumbasses, you ignorant some bitches. You guys are stupid as hell, and unfortunately, some of you vote. Anyway,
Yep.
that's my opinion.
Their vote counts just as equally as yours, Gene. Don't forget that.
Yeah, I
So
know.
terrifying.
I'm glad we outnumbered them by damn near 8 million voters last year. But anyway,
Yeah,
don't
they're
forget the down ballot races.
yeah.
That's where
They're
the
definitely
power
feeling the
is.
minority.
That is
They're
where the
feeling that
power
minority.
is.
It is true, true. The power is there. They're feeling that minority pressure of, yeah, we're the small amount of guys here. We really don't have that backing anymore. And hopefully the popular vote has more of a power to it too, because we did talk about that last week also.
Yeah,
We want the electoral college to change,
it's got
but
to go. It's got to go the way
it's
of the
gotta go.
dodo.
Anyways, that's all the time that we have today.
I'm
I'm
Gene.
Zane. Thank you for tolerating us in our online show today. You guys have a wonderful weekend. We'll
Yes.
talk to you soon.
Be kind to one another. Treat each other the way you want to be treated, and don't be a hypocrite.
Absolutely.